Hello there, my Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your twin flame read for October-ish 2019, meaning that it's totally going to blend into November, most likely. I am your reader, Angelo Lyons, the Archangel of Lyons. Mal for short, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, author, reader, you fucking name it, I've done it. With a potty mouth sense of humor that I inherited from my mother. If you are new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. To my subscribers, welcome back, and thank you so much for subscribing. Hit that notification button, bell thingy too. That's you're supposed to do that too. Whatever, I do. I do it when I feel it, right? So let's get down to work. I already blessed the cards. I am a Virgo. If you're new to my channel, 4 planets, second house in Virgo. Sun, Jupiter conjunct, and then Uranus, Pluto conjunct. Great fun. So that being said, if you are new to these readings, the twin flame readings, I do them a little bit differently than what is usually seen on YouTube, as I have discovered. That twin flames and soulmates are not the same thing. That's why if you check the description box below, since you're Virgo, you might like the research opportunity. I did a video called Clarifying Twin Flames and Soulmates, where I explain my point of view, but I also have in there about true lovers. That's in, I think, the second link. But the third one is the one from Matt KAHN, Soul Contracts, Twin Flames and Soulmates Redefined. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. I've watched it a whole bunch of times. It's long. I think it's over an hour, but totally worth it, because Twin Flames and Soulmates are not the same thing. Both are contracts, soul contracts, pre-incarnational contracts that you agree to in the Akashic records, whatever, whatever. Before you come down here, they're written into the character that you play, right? You are the soul that was chosen and chose to play the role. Like the soul of Mark Lyons chose to be Mark Lyons, but he had to audition for the part, and he got the role. Yay. Tricky life, and particularly tricky twin flame relationships. Twin flame contracts. They are transformative, they are tumultuous, they are turbulent, they are triggerish, triggeresque, because as passionate and hot as they can be, not always in the romantic sexual paradigm, by the way, they can be family members, they can be people you work with, anybody, anything can be in content, regardless of the form, a twin flame relationship. But they are to transform you, to teach you how to learn, well, to teach you how to learn how to love yourself, how to set boundaries, self-esteem, learning how to heal yourself, right? They, by contract, can't give you what you want, but they certainly give you what you need. Mick Jagger. Yeah, you can't always get what you want with a twin flame. In fact, rarely so, but you find sometimes you get what you need, which you get the opportunity to look at you, right? To heal you, to heal your personality, ego, soul wounds, issues, all that kind of stuff. And they're hard, but that's okay. We have soulmates too, which are the satisfying variety, and there's a whole playlist that I did first time around this past month as well for October, satisfying soulmate relationships. So go check those out. Soulmates are, yeah, everything's in the links. Just go to the links. So that being said, let's get down to work here, get down to business. I bless the decks, really wonderful, really asking them, please keep me out of this, please keep me out of this. I don't like seeing myself in the readings that I do on YouTube. I read myself enough. Thank you very much. Plus I watch other readers on YouTube. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 3 Caroline Myss archetype cards. 1 for the divine feminine, 1 for the divine masculine, and 1 for the twin flame relationship itself. Yes, I'm using the language of divine feminine, divine masculine, because it's easier and I think more understandable for my viewers than saying divine yin, divine yang, or divine principle solar, divine principle lunar. It's just divine masculine, divine feminine is colloquial enough at this point that we can use that. And then we are going to build on that with other decks of cards, 20 cards total in the spread. So here we go. My pantheons. Please, 1 card in clarity. There you are. For this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship, please one card in clarity for the divine feminine in this twin flame relationship. Just call me mother. RuPaul. Just call me mother. All right, the mother archetype. Now I'm going to read what's written on these cards once the three are chosen. And there's somebody in the neighborhood doing power washing or something, and I really hope you can't hear it, because I can. Yeah, some kind of, how's that for a bitch face? Resting witch face. It's hard to be clairaudient. Shit going on outside, but I guess it's daylight hours. They have to get it done. My pantheons, please. One card for the divine masculine. One card of clarity to identify the divine masculine in this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in this twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Please, one for the divine masculine. Here we go. And here we've got the Alchemist, the mother and the Alchemist. Fascinating. Fascinating. I can feel that dynamic as we speak. Now, I'm really happy because the relationship I'm in right now is soulmate, not twin flame, but I had a crap load of twin flames to get me ready for the soulmate, at least the romantic variety. Hell yeah. So please, my pantheon, one more card here for the twin flame relationship itself. One card of clarity for this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Ooh, the divine child. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. The mother, the child, and the alchemist. This is going to be intense. All right, so let me read what's written on here. So we're going to start with the mother archetype, definitely feminine family of archetypes. Light attribute. Nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. What could be more divine feminine? We love that part. That's the gold. Here comes the lead that has to be alchemized into that gold. Shadow attribute. Smothering or abandoning children, right? Smothering or abandoning, opposite ends of an abuse thing. Instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. My mom didn't do that with me. She's like, go ahead, find your wings and fly. And did I ever? Fly, 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 fly. Uh-oh, uh-oh, not right, mama. So divine feminine totally makes sense. Light and shadow, got it. Now that's why, remember, this does not have to be a romantic sexual form. We're looking at the energetic archetypal content, right? The theme. The alchemist for the divine masculine. Now this is the alchemist is the wisdom family. So light attribute, transformation of basic motives and goals into golden wisdom, right? So we all have basic motives and goals, right? To eat, to sleep, to fuck, right? We all have these basic motives. That's the what. The why, however, is the internal work. So that's how we alchemize that into golden wisdom. That we all have had experience come into our energy fields, and some of it is just straight up traumatic, no question. But that lead in our system has to be alchemized into wisdom. What did we learn from it? What did we gain from it? Because in my experience, in the fifth dimensional perspective of this world, this is a hologram where everything that comes to us like a video game already pre-programmed comes to us to make us better. Now, to make us better on a soul level, not a personality does not have to like it, and that's a relief because my personality thinks it sucks ass most days. It's like, really, this is for my highest good? Great, right? And that's okay. In retrospect, you look back and see that. So the alchemist takes time. It's not an instant process. Neither is the practice of unconditional love. But now here comes the shadow attribute. And if you're the divine masculine, I want you to hear this. Misuse of the power and knowledge that come through spiritual practice. How would you abuse that? Well, alchemizing things in order to get what you want, in order to manipulate other people from what you've learned. It's like using archetypes to figure out what someone else's archetypes are so that you can take advantage of them. That's hard enough once you know what their archetypes are, because everybody's got, for example, the child archetype. Now this is the divine child archetype. The divine child is one of, you could say, the sub-pantheon of the child archetype. There's the nature child and the wounded child and the orphan child and the magical child, and on and on and on. The divine child is a specific flavor, and I have the divine child archetype. I called God and Goddess Dad and Mom for a very long time. Even my parents, I call Zeus and Hera, because they are. Spent the weekend with them, and I'm driving up to Saratoga to see them this weekend because we didn't get enough time together. The light attribute. Innocence, purity, and redemption suggests a special connection with the divine. That's really me in the light. Now I have other child archetypes in there, not just the one. Well, innocence, well, that I can walk into a situation innocently, seeing it, ooh, what's this all about, right? Not in total terror. Purity, I am a purist about certain things. Bad choreography and people singing off key, just kill me. And redemption, right? Child always wants to be redeemed, always wants, it's okay, I love you. Suggests a special connection with the divine. Look what I do for a living. Shadow attribute. An inability to defend oneself against negative forces, which is why I had to study witchcraft, right? Why I needed to learn about wards and banishing and binding and all of that stuff, but I had to do it through wisdom, right? So as a Virgo here, I know about how to abuse what comes from spiritual practice as an alchemist, but really consider myself a divine feminine, that I am a mother. My cats call me mama. Well, they go, it's mama, it's not papa, right? So that divine child, that innocence, that we are all the divine child. We are all, every single one of us. But when it is an archetype in a relationship, not just either the divine masculine or the divine feminine, but for the relationship itself, it really suggests that the divine is at work here, not more or less than any other relationship, but there's an innocence here. So we're going to go a little tender, a little gentler on this one than if those archetypes were different, particularly because the Alchemist, so powerful. And how we are going to do that is we are going to take 5 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot in an element spread to clarify for this mother archetype in terms of fire, earth, air, water, and spirit. So here we go. My gods, please, top 5 cards, element spread for this mother archetype in this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship. Fire, what does she desire? Air. Fire, what does she desire? Earth, what does she have? Air, what does she think? Water, what does she feel? Spirit overview. Top 5 cards for this mother archetype in this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. One more. Top 5 cards. Top 5 cards. Element spread. Maiden. Mother. Crone. Maiden. Mother. Crone. What does the divine feminine want? Element of fire, desire, will, and choice. Well, oppression. Not that necessarily that she wants to be oppression, but she wants this dealt with. Now, I always point out when this card comes up that there's a woman buried under a pile of rocks, but the pile of rocks have faces on them, right? So it's about being oppressed by other people, right? Other people's energy. Divine feminine are known for their empathy, right? So there definitely could be some empathic overload here, taking on other people's vibe and not being aware that you're taking on other people's stuff is tricky. There's a whole branch of codependence, vibrational codependence, empathic codependence, where you feel how other people are feeling and you instantly judge it as their opinion of you, how they feel about you. So you start people pleasing and manipulating so that they feel better, so that you feel better. Huh? And it happens that fast, right? And we learned it as children. So that thing of taking on the psychic weight of others, being very oppressed, as well as it feels like there's something oppressing this relationship, that she kind of wants to, let's deal with this. Let's walk through the fire if necessary. Let's transform what's needed, but do not want to be held back, oppressed anymore. This would be the devil card in terms of the chains around the necks of the two little devil beings, right, at the foot of Baphomet. The chains are loose, could slip them off and walk away, but they don't, right? So dealing with this oppression is what she wants to deal with. And let's face it, Major Arcana card, first card down. Let's see. What has she got to help her with that? Well, she's got her creativity, her anger, Pele, the volcano. Whew. Oh, those 5 of flames, those 5 of flames. There's an explosion. There's bursting out from underneath that, the will, the desire, the drive. Now 5, people don't like the 5s, their numbers of change, but the drive, the desire, the molten magma building up underneath the crust, underneath all of those stones. Oh, girl, she's gonna go right through. So Divine Feminine, if you're the one watching this, you have the power to do this. If this relationship is being oppressed, if you're being oppressed by the Divine Masculine, if you're being depressed by your own, like other people's opinions of what's going on, or just your own past, your own emotional, your own personal emotional baggage, or that which you're feeling in the collective of humanity. I get the oppression part, wanting to break through that. But with that card of Pele there, you have the strength to do that. So what are you thinking? What is she thinking, the Divine Feminine? Ooh, the card of manipulation. Now, every time this card comes up too, I have to explain it. This card has no reverse, right? Even though technically it does, that it's a 6 of blades at the top. Now 6 of blades, 6 of swords is that moving from choppy water to smooth water in the gondola. I know I should have been a mime, but I can't stand them. Olive loaf. This is about the movement of the mind. It is an air card, no question. So what she's thinking about, it's maybe not so much what she's thinking about, but how she's thinking. She's spinning this around in her mind, sort of looking at it from different angles. And let's face it, that's therapy, right? That's meditation. It's using the mind as the tool. It is the double-headed axe, the Sagaris. I think there's a couple of A's in there. You know, definitely a feminine power symbol there. And one, particularly with that crystal tapped, which is so nice. Crystal tipped double-headed axes. It's got to be rough on the quartz to spin the mind in that way in order to see things differently, right? Not so much that she's thinking about manipulation. That may be possible because when you're oppressed, all sorts of crazy shit goes through your mind. But we are not our thoughts, right? Thoughts are electromagnetic wavelengths. We are the silent watcher of the thoughts ultimately. Do we get possessed by them or not? But also there's an indication there that she's beginning to understand that it's her own thoughts and belief systems. Now again, when I'm talking Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, I'm not talking bodily gender here at all. But we're talking about that energetic dynamic that can really intuit her way through this. Interestingly enough, using the masculine elements of fire and air, to see this differently, to take responsibility for, oh, some of these links in these chains, some of the stones there are really just thoughts and beliefs that I've picked up along the way, but toxic, fear, not so high, which, by the way, might have served for a time. Just because we have negative thoughts now doesn't mean that they didn't pull our shit out of survival situations where they were the best thoughts we could have at the time, right? So no judgment even on that. You stinking thinking. Oh, go fuck yourself. No. We all have to adopt certain thoughts and patterns in order to survive, particularly as children, adolescents. So what better than a twin flame relationship to boil this stuff to the surface, right? Put the heat on underneath, all the scum rises to the surface. It's horrible to call it scum, but so that you can skim it off, right? So that it can be healed. It's really what twin flame relationships do. They are the crucible relationship where you are held in place and transformed. So what is she feeling about all of this? This should be fun. The other devil card. Girl, you got both devil cards. Right? The coyote woman. Now, I love coyote energy. The trickster. But this is the saboteur. This is how we sabotage ourselves. So that whether she is feeling sabotaged, which is, you know, usually the case, we're going to go there first, that a trick has been played, know that with this major arcana card, right? See that falcon above? That there's a message coming in. There's a higher way of seeing this, that this is happening for you. But are you making Wise decisions that empower you and others. Now, not just choices, decisions, because I'm way familiar with the saboteur archetype is one of the 4 survival family archetypes. The child is one of them, the victim is the second, the saboteur is the third, the prostitute the fourth. Everybody's got those. And the prostitute ain't all about being a hooker. By the way, it's a very small percentage of the archetype. But here we're looking at the saboteur. There's a trick being played. There's an emotional trick. She's feeling the trick. She's feeling tricked, and that would make sense with that feeling of oppression, that she's there against her own will. But this might be, okay, well, you know, if I'm going to really look at my spirituality, if I'm really going to look at, you know, my path, what I'm learning, what I'm healing, what I already know, Virgo, you know, we know a lot of stuff. We study a lot, particularly about psychology, the way things are, the way they are with people, that taking that all into consideration, there's a huge opportunity for her to pull some of them rocks off herself when she realizes, oh, yeah, my mother, my father, my neighbor, whoever might have placed that rock there at some point, but I can remove it now. It's up to me to remove it because no one else can, not even the other in the relationship. This is the work only you can do. So let's get a spirit card overview here. The learner, brilliant. It's what we're good at. It's what we're good at. Now I'll tell you, I'm a brilliant teacher. I am so much fun in the classroom. So go watch my earlier catalog of videos on YouTube. I love teaching. It's a passion for me. I'm a horrible student, but I am a learner. I will learn. My mother was a nursery school teacher, so I'm really good with shapes and colors. Hence tarot. Just brilliant, brilliant card. I'm only reading straight up. I'm not reading reverse cards for these, but this one really, really did come absolutely straight up. And I love that it's a crone teaching a maiden. And she's already done it, right? It's like somebody who's already done it before. So really, we have maiden, mother, and crone present right at the top of the spread. You'll see I'll pop up the picture at the end. But that's just really beautiful for the divine feminine here, is that if you can really, if this is the divine feminine watching this, if you can really look at this thing, and it's not a trick by the other person, but it's the only way that we could have learned this, that we could have gone through this. And yes, it tests of self-sabotage, really Wile E. Coyote, Virgo schemes and plans that just go, they do not work out the way we expected them to or wanted them to. And it's okay to be angry. Be angry. Love that voice. Mother that voice inside of you to say, it's okay, kid. I get it, sweetheart. You're allowed to be angry. It's okay to be angry. Go ahead, rage, but you don't act on it. You love what rises, not let it possess you like a demon, keying cars and drunk texting. We're Virgos. We're the only sign that crosses its legs. Until we don't. Sluts of the zodiac that we are. We just don't look at, well, I do. All right, so it makes sense. We're going to clarify that with one last card before we're done. But now let's look at the divine masculine. And what are we going to clarify that with? The mythic tarot. My gods, please. Top 5 cards. Element spread. For the divine masculine in this Virgo collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Air for fire. What does he want? Earth. What does he have? Air. What does he think? Water. What does he feel? Spirit. What is the overview? Fire, earth, air, water, spirit, top 5 cards for the divine masculine in this Virgo collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Ruffle, shuffle, maiden. Oh, I feel that. Mother, crone. Maiden, mother, crone. What does the divine masculine want? Oh, he wants the High Priestess. Now that's interesting, considering it is a virgin card. Now, the High Priestess is a virgin, the most beautiful woman on earth that has never been touched by man. That's the traditional. This, however, is Persephone, right? In her queen of the underworld. Yes, she's the maiden of spring, the summer lady, and the queen of the dead. I love Persephone. I've got a very strong Persephone in me, actually. So that hidden secrets, that she really rules the underworld, holding the pomegranate, the food of the dead, with such insight and such depth. But cross your legs. Except for Hades. You know, she never cheated on him, and he never cheated on her. Isn't that lovely? Nothing like a healthy marriage. Well, time apart. Talking about separate vacations. So, you know, just tuning into that. The divine masculine really wants, I'm not going to say the divine feminine purely in and of that, but there's something I'm feeling about the deeper hidden mysteries that perhaps the divine feminine embodies here, but really more of a call to the intuition, to the interior world, to that inner guidance to know what to do on a gut level rather than being totally trapped in the head. Okay, that's what came through on that one. Well, what does the divine masculine have? The element of earth, like the wick that feeds the candle flame of the fire. Well, Page of Wands, right? Willing to just rush in, not like the Gemini, but to come forward with a passionate offer, right? It's maybe immature. It's the beginning stages. Doesn't mean he's immature, but kind of like wanting to like reignite this, right? The pages, to me, the pages are not necessarily people so much as they are messengers, right? But in terms of what he has, this is like sexting. Now, again, is there something wholeheartedly romantic sexual here? No, we've got a mother, an alchemist, and a child. But between the alchemist and the mother there, that the alchemist wanting some of that deeper hidden wisdom here, what he has is at least something inspirational, desire, and offering a message. Like, what does a page do? A page delivers messages. So, you know, if you want to go, oh, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, sure, that can certainly be in there. That might be an indicator for some of the people watching this vid and some of the collective here. But that the vibe that I get from this is very much wanting to communicate. Very much, well, I really, really want that. It's not an intellectual pursuit then. It really is, they're triggered by something here, but in a good way. And like, well, what are you doing? Where have you gone? Perhaps the divine feminine mother archetype here has retreated to deal with stuff. And they're like, well, where'd you go? But where'd you go? What's going on? And really, so if you're the divine masculine here, just be gentle. Be gentle here, because you might be the suspected object of what this oppression is about. So let's see what else you got here. What are you thinking? What is he thinking, the divine masculine here? Well, 9 of Wands. Jeez, we're almost freaking there if we can just get over this reef, right? We can just get over this last barrier. This will be done. This will be dealt with. Does feel like the divine feminine disappeared and he's sort of stuck on the rocks. Love on the rocks. No big surprise. Yeah, I mean, not quite home. Not quite home. You know, the 9 of Pentacles. Sorry, the 9 of Wands. Dude, touch my wands. My set's almost complete. Hoarder. But really, a lot on his mind then, but just really at an impasse, not sure how to make it to that last bit to make this all understanding. Now here, interesting with the Page of Wands, if he keeps that wand, he's got the 10, but wants to run that over to the divine feminine. I'm really feeling here that this is the call, the intuition. It wants to understand, what the hell is this that I'm feeling? Why do I feel like something's wrong here? Something's off here. And so close to figuring it out. So close to getting what he wants here, but in a twin flame relationship, looks like the divine feminine can't give it to him. That's how these things go. What you need, not what you want. How's he feeling? 3 of Swords. We know 3 of Swords. Now look, it is a mental card. I've never felt comfortable with saying that 3 of Swords was heartbreak just because there were 3 swords piercing a heart, right? Otherwise, heartbreak is definitely a water card, right? It's an emotion. But what we're looking at here is an intense focus on the emotions, right? 3 swords, air into the heart, in this case, of a human. But this is definitely a 3-way situation here. Now, I'm not saying that there's a 3-way situation here. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But the feeling that I'm getting from this is one of heartbreak and turbulence and a focus on the emotions, which is maybe why that internal call is getting stronger and stronger. Wants to know, why am I feeling this? What is this about? And that's often what happens in twin flames when we're so used to blaming other people for how we feel, where that's not healthy anymore. That worked for a while. It doesn't work anymore. It's like, oh, that feeling that I had, you triggered it. It's like I had this hidden landmine. How many of us deal with the wounds of abuse, neglect, codependence, and loss? Well, as children, or even as young adults, or even as adults, we're so damn busy, right? Who has time to process all through that emotion? That's okay. That's what twin flame relationships are for, and we've all had strings of them in different ways, shapes, and forms. So for whatever's going on here, to have that pain triggered would absolutely be like, well, how do I heal this? I don't know how to heal this. I want to know how to heal this. Standing at the gate of the underworld. And Tartarus is just one part of the underworld, right? Let's not call the entire underworld hell. It's not. But Tartarus is a bitch, but it's all about reformation. It's about redemption and reform. Sort of like rehab, underworld rehab. Sort of knocking on that door, wanting to know, it's like, how do I heal this? Because it feels like the divine feminine is healing it. And if there's no communication between the two, then he's picking up on that. Remember, just because there's a divine masculine doesn't mean they're without intuition, that they're without all this mystical stuff, because we are all a balance and blend. And remember, we're not talking gender here, not physical body gender. One more card. What's the overview here for the divine masculine? Well, Queen of Swords. Scorpio card, right? She got, oh no, sorry, Queen of Swords. That is sorry, I confused it with Queen of Cups for a minute. That is Aquarius, obviously pouring the water. I saw the water and jumped to a zodiacal conclusion. Please forgive me, Virgo Collective. So the overview here is pulling back and up, going transcendent, going perhaps spiritual, going perhaps psychological. Yes, for now, head over heart, but to get the mental clarity, because feels like he's almost there in his mind, right? Wants to know, wants to understand, wants to complete this, right? But so can communicate. So for the divine masculine, if you're going to reach out, if you're going to communicate, if there's a new adventure calling you forward, even if it's not about the divine feminine, go for it. But if you are going to make an offer to this particular divine feminine, this mother archetype, oh, Jungian slip, just be careful, because this volcano is ready to blow, and maybe you are the one to trigger that volcano, and maybe that's necessary. But that's why we are going to do now the middle lane, as I like to call it, the relationship itself, and that will give some more info. Let's do that. My angels, please, one card for this Virgo Collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Considering that we've got the divine child archetype at work here, and that's for both of them, the divine children within each. The relationship itself is that. It is a divine child, at least for October 2019-ish. So my angels, please, in your celestial perspective, your larger point of view, one card in clarity, please, for this Virgo Collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond signs. The writing's on the wall, folks, what this is. You may not see it, but it's, I really, really hope with the learner and the Queen of Swords, feminine, divine masculine, respectively, that you're pulling back enough to learn that there are signs everywhere on this. Synchronicities, songs on the radio, you know how it goes. That the divine child, you see, it's like this relationship was written to help you both, individually help you both, to be able to defend yourself against, you know, to how to deal with the negativities of the world, the negative forces in the world. And that both of you are so loved by the divine that this is not a torture chamber, this relationship. This is the best thing for both of your souls to evolve, to have the experiences that they came to heal. And that's why the signs may be confusing. I see that. I get that. It's like the sign saying, but this is love. You're meant to love each other. And it's just turbulent and tricky and triggery. And you're like, well, but it sucks. How am I supposed to love this if it sucks? It's like, well, Sometimes we interpret the signs incorrectly. Not that we shouldn't, but that the purpose, not the reason. When we look for reason, we get all confused, such a mental thing. But to get that there is a divine purpose, all sacred contracts of all varieties, there's divine purpose behind them that we may never see while still in body. Sometimes I think, though, if we're lucky, or if we're good little boys and girls in the divine game of life, but sometimes when we're ready, we're shown, right? We're shown the purpose of it. And sometimes it's just in our own lives. We look back and we go, oh, that relationship totally prepared me for this really wonderful situation that I always wanted. I needed to go through that, like boot camp, right? Like training, like rehearsal. But don't make your relationships rehearsals for the big one. Learn what you're there to learn, and love is always the answer. Just saying. Let's pull a daughter of the moon here. We're going to pull a mythic tarot as well. So please, my gods, one card in clarity for this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. You've got the divine child with signs. What would you like to add to that, please, my gods? Interesting. 9 of Blades. Criticism. Now, criticism in terms of intense focus, not just about being critical, but certainly those arrows are pointed within. So totally getting the indication here that there's a lot of self-blame going on here. It's like the child doesn't know and feels like it's supposed to know, like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't want to know, I'm bad, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I'm stupid. There's that part of the criticism in there, but there's also like critical care unit, critical math, critical thinking. There's, and such a Virgo card about really focus on detail, that there's detail there. There's something in the detail here, perhaps a tiny thing, but that's the paradox with the gods, right? One teeny tiny little thing has all the power in the world, or if you want to go scriptural, the power of the mountain is within the mustard seed, right? Something there really, really in the detail. Criticism. So let's ask, my gods, please, one more. A mythic tarot, please, my gods, in clarity of this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond, with this divine child archetype with signs and criticism. There's probably a lot of overthinking. Please, what say you? A piece of your godly guidance and grace. Well, good old 3 of Wands, like a pledging of loyalty to see it through, right? That thing of, all right, I've been waiting for my ships to come in. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to wait. I'm going to get through this no matter what it takes. Oh, the bottom card was the Lovers, which, you know, is about a decision, but we'll leave that for there. With that 3 of Wands, that loyalty, that sort of waiting for your ships to come in, that patience, but there's a stability in that, and a willingness to take the journey, to do what is necessary. Now, add to that, if someone here is just being critical, like that sort of naggy colloquial critical, snap out of it. Look deeper. This is not about blame. This is not about shame. This is not about the guilt of the other person. This is about past, in the case of the divine feminine, past oppression. In the case of the divine masculine, this heartbreak, this 3 of Swords thing that is probably being triggered by this relationship more than anybody's heart is actually being broken. But it feels like on both sides, there's a lot of thinking and a lot of desire, I would think, once the storm settles, once either the ashes settle from that explosion from Pele, the volcano, that to see this through. Let's see this through. We're only at a 3. If this is a newer relationship, that makes sense. If this is one that's been long term, then there really has been an impasse here. Stuff that needs to be healed, some psychic weight that needs to be dropped, some lead to be alchemized into gold. But with that divine child, I gotta say, there's that. Look, the gods love everybody. The angels, the gods, the masters, the higher souls, they are love. They're the divinity that we really are. We're just putting names and lenses on them. We're all love, every single one of us. So considering that everybody involved in this is the divine at core, that the divine child, there's an innocence here. There's a possibility of not just a rebirth, but a true birth of awareness and understanding. of what these relationships are for, so that they can be resolved with love. But you just can't give each other what the other one wants, right? Just how it is. Just how it is. I know, they suck. But in retrospect, we're thankful for them every time. Believe me, I've had my share. So let's see what the Masters have to say about this. This should be fun. I'm a little pissed at the Masters lately. I wouldn't say pissed. Just like, really? But they are the most human of the pantheons that I deal with. Anyway, please, my Masters, one card of clarity for this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond, because we've got the Divine Child with signs, criticism, and the Three of Wands. Please. Wow. No, just the one, please. Is it because I said I was a little pissed with them? They're not vindictive. They're Ascended Masters, right? Please, my Masters, one more time. One card in clarity, please. Oh, I'll use the grace of humility. One card of clarity, please, for this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Yeah, disillusionment. This one came up in the last reading or two. That both are under an illusion, right? Not seeing clearly, seeing through a glass darkly, and look, we all do. We all believe we're separate from each other. It's called the illusion of separation. That there may be projection going on here. There might be some real toxicity flying in the air, but you got to get that the contact lenses are smoky, right? Like the lenses you're looking through aren't clear. Neither one of you are seeing clearly here. Oh, that makes sense, where if you can really just hang in there, have loyalty, keep moving forward on this individually, and really get down into the nitty-gritty. Focus on what's my part in this, what am I thinking? Because with the Divine Child, this could be stuff about safety. This could be stuff that you picked up from parents, or just the general atmosphere that you grew up in. So, you know, it's sort of like, okay, no, my home life was great. My parents were wonderful. My family was great, but I was bullied at school, right? Or my teachers were toxic. No one gets away with it. No one gets away from it. The only way out is through. So really, you got to lay off the guilt and blame game here. Yeah, and if somebody's martyring, the martyr archetype, which is a card in the Caroline Myss archetype deck. No shit, there is the card of the martyr in there. The martyr card, kind of fun to say, not fun to be in its light. However, it's one of the highest vibrational cards in the deck. But that being said, kind of knock it off. Take responsibility. No one makes you feel anything. I have eradicated that phrase from my vocabulary. You make me feel, or you made me feel, even when it's a good thing. You really, I did for myself. It's like, you know, when you do that, I feel. That really triggers me. But I'm going to take responsibility for my trigger, right? But even like, you know, the kiss. It's like, it's so hard to not say, oh, that made me feel so good. I don't think that's that much of a crime to express it that way. When you kissed me like that, the earth moved under my feet. Felt the sky tumbling down, right? So be careful with this card of disillusionment there. That's not to avoid it, but to kind of get, oh, we're not seeing this clearly. That love can win out through this, because the only way that I know of to deal with disillusionment is to get that it's another word for enlightenment, and it's happening for you to see clearly. Thankfully, we have 3 cards left. Oh, the Whispers of Love Oracle. I love this deck. We're going to pull 3, just like the Caroline Myss archetype cards. Divine Feminine, ladies first. Divine Masculine. And if you're not a lady, again, we're not talking bodily gender. Don't drag me through YouTube land. And one for the relationship itself. So, the higher selves of all involved, please. One card of clarity for the Divine Feminine in this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019. This one. Focus on love, Divine Feminine. Look for the good attributes in each and every person in your life. That's what you're going to focus on in order to get, oh my God, they meant well. Oh my God, they were trying to protect me. Oh my God, they were toxic. They were in pain. So who's holding the rocks on whom now, right? To focus on love. That they couldn't give me what I needed. Look, we can have, my father and I were twin flames in that sense, truly. Could not give each other what the other wanted. He wanted a heterosexual Catholic son. I'm a gay witch. Now, he died the summer between high school and college for me, so it was like my jailer was free. It took me years before I cried. Talk about a twin flame relationship. Therapy really, really helped. But now we're really close, and because what I do for a living, I talk to spirits all day long. So I talked to my dad, particularly at Samhain. He saved my shit last year, my dad at Samhain, considering he's not in a physical body. Well, at least not yet, that I'm aware of. So, to look back on this and focus on love, Divine Feminine, that to focus on what's good, the good attributes in people, because no one's 100% evil, regardless of what you... Let's just leave that there. Let's just leave that there. I'm not going there. I was about to say something I was going to regret on YouTube. Virgo, cross your legs. The higher selves of all involved, please, a whisper of love, a card of clarity for the Divine Masculine in this Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond, please, a whisper of love for him. Honesty is essential. If you're going to communicate, make sure you're honest. Honesty is essential. To be a loving person, it is important that we speak truthfully and in a loving manner. No burning anybody down, Divine Masculine. No blame. Just say, this really, really hurt, but I'm really struggling with it. I'm not trying to blame you. Don't want to blame you. But this is so reminiscent of every other time that I've done this. I'm really trying to heal this. And I'm looking at this differently. I'm so sorry, right? Can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk? Honesty is essential. Because look, the dude's got a mask on. Take off that mask. Reveal yourself. And she's like, huh? What? I don't want to. Nah, I don't want to. Well, I wouldn't either. Take off that mask. Show me who you are. All of this skin. Here we go. Last one down for the relationship itself, and then I'll give you the overview, the summation. Please, the higher selves of all involved, one card in clarity, a whisper of love for this Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Please, a piece of your higher self guidance and grace. Forgiveness. The divine child wants to forgive. The divine child is the one that forgives. Nothing can be gained by holding on to past disappointments. Just so that you see it. See, I'm not making it up. Oh my goodness, goodness gracious. That in the relationship where it is for this month is about forgiveness, and it's about that divine child. So look, divine child, masculine, feminine, whoever's watching this, go to your divine parentage. God, Goddess, Lord, Lady, Sun, Moon, Zeus, Hera, Morgan, Hearn, whoever your divine mother, father are. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, whatever works for you. Help me forgive this. Give me the signs. Send me what I need. Help me focus on this with this Nine of Blades, this Three of Wands, to just do what I have to do to be honorable here. To remove the, and really it's so funny, that funny, haha, funny, interesting, funny, that it is, that forgiveness itself is an illusion, but it's the only illusion that heals. Course in Miracles, right? The gods don't need to forgive. That's for us. That's a tool in the game, right? Forgive them. They know not what they do. A very powerful read here. So let me give you the overview. For the Divine Feminine, we've got this mother archetype who wants so much with this oppression to be dealt with and healed. What she has is the volcano inside of her, her own changing passion, desires, and belief, her own anger and creativity and sexuality rising up to blast through those rocks. Her thinking, though, is the card of manipulation, the Six of Blades, changing the way that she's thinking about, seeing things differently, which is inherent in forgiveness, seeing somebody's innocence, but feeling tricked, right? Feeling either tricked by the gods or tricked by the divine masculine, or just she's tricked and sabotaged herself. But with that overview of the learner, when she sees she's a learner, then she can focus on love, looking for the good attributes of each and every person involved here, which the Divine Mother incarnate in this Divine Feminine is going to do that, right? And then with the Divine Masculine, you know, wanting this deeper experience of the interior world, the intuitive part, perhaps even the emotional subconscious part of that with the High Priestess. What does he have? That Page of Wands, an offering. But an offering must be honest, must be clear, and must not be rushed, right? Can be passionate, can have a lot of will and desire behind it, but with that Nine of Wands stuck on the rocks, a defensiveness, something getting in the way there, that not that there's a mental block, but that he's really seeing this is not going to be easy, but it's sort of like the last thing that has to be really dealt with before breakthrough can happen. Right, because really feeling that Three of Swords, certainly there's emotional pain in there, but there is a mental focus on there that's mostly his own thoughts doing this, that there are illusions at play on both sides here. So we can say in the Divine Feminine, what's oppressing her is her own illusions. Granted, those are illusions were given to her by other people. They are learned. And that here, the illusion of the Three of Swords, that, you know, that he's not doing this to himself, that it's his own thoughts and beliefs that are torturing him. And causing such pain. Both need self-love, self-respect, self-acceptance, self-approval, all of that, and new boundaries set for sure, because with that Queen of Swords overlighting the overview of this particular pentacle for the Divine Masculine, we've got that Aquarian card of really seeing it from a higher place, from a higher altitude, by shifting attitude, a more humanitarian and perhaps even philosophical approach. And with the Alchemist, that makes sense with the Alchemist, that there's alchemy going on here. Do not forget that, Divine Masculine, that you are the alchemist in this, that you are the one who can use the element of forgiveness. Unconditional love for me is the divine solvent. Forgiveness, the Philosopher's Stone. Have at it. Right? Nicholas Flamel, etc. By the way, I knew about Alchemist. Paulo Coelho. Read the book, The Alchemist. Great book. Good story, but good lessons in there too. Because then the overview here with this divine child, I can't, every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, that perhaps this is very much a relationship that is new or in its infancy, what have you, but that there is something sweet and tender and innocent here. And this child really willing to embrace this, because feels the love of the divine on some level, consciously, subconsciously, or unconsciously, that the signs are everywhere, and the divine child will always be thrilled by a sign, but that there is that Nine of Blades, critical focus, really looking at the self. What is my role in this? What do I have to learn? What do I have to heal? What do I have to love within myself as it rises? And that Three of Wands, that loyalty, that sort of waiting for the other person, but also doing your work while you wait, being loyal to see this through. A 3 on its way to a 10. That there is some disillusionment here, some releasing of some mental patterns of thinking things are one way, realizing that they are another, so that forgiveness, the miracle, Course in Miracles, is actually all about forgiveness, but it's quantum forgiveness, not the forgiveness we were raised with. The Course calls forgiveness to destroy. This is really about looking past all of that and seeing the divine within the person and seeing that it's all part of the script, therefore an illusion in and of itself, but the only illusion that heals. The Course in Miracles could have been called The Course in Forgiveness, but nobody would have read the book. I probably wouldn't have, but that was 30 years ago that I started on my Course in Miracles journey for sure. And it's been very, very helpful, and the upgrades have come consistently in my life since, referring back to it. So there is then, with that divine child and this miracle here, right in this center lane, as it were, there's miracles here waiting to happen. Love is your answer. Love what rises. Love one another, even if it doesn't end up the way that you want to. Love is always the answer. And as far as I'm concerned, the only way to successfully walk away from a twin flame relationship, should it get abusive or neglectful, because those cancel contracts, those two wounds, that you really walk away with love and forgiveness. But then again, if you're already married, or if this is parent, child, or sibling, or what have you, then this is really something where forgiveness, you're going to continue transforming each other and triggering each other. But now at least you'll know, oh, that's the contract. This is happening for our betterment. And really, once we croak, once we reemerge into the non-physical, ascend into the higher whatever as you want to call it, then all contracts are off, at least for a while, right? So, my darling Virgo brothers and sisters, there's a lot to think about here, and you're welcome. And I really do wish you the very best and the very blessed in this twin flame relationship. It is for your own good, and I don't even like hearing that. No, this is happening for your own good. Bite my shiny magic ass, right? But hang in there. This is worth it. This is worth going through. And certainly, here, let me give it to you right now. May the Virgo collective sun, moon, rising Venus signs be blessed with all that they need to heal, to learn, to grow, and to evolve through and with their twin flame relationships in October 2019 and beyond. May they be blessed with all that they need. May they be blessed. I am the light I am, for the well-being of all that I am now. And so it is. And for now, my Virgos, cross your legs. Hail, farewell, and blessed be.